Alright, it's question and answer time. I'm excited to do this. Never done this on a vlog before, only done it on Instagram. I asked you guys some questions on here to see if what you would want me to answer on a vlog style, or I can kind of go more in depth on some questions and stuff. So here we go. First question up is from Henry B. Jazz. He said he's asking advice for young jazz musicians. Man, that's always a tough question. It's the one that I get a lot. I still consider myself a young jazz musician, so I don't know. I can give advice for myself, but maybe like from even younger, like middle school, high school. The number one thing is listening. You know, you can practice as many scales, and I say this to all my students, you can practice as many scales and as many etudes as you want, but if you don't listen, you don't transcribe. I guess those are the two most important pieces of advice: listening and transcribing. That's how you get the language. You know, it's like you can't learn Spanish or Japanese just by reading a book or practicing vocabulary. You need to have the phrasing down and certain articulations, I guess, of different languages. And jazz is a language, music is a language, so you got to listen to it. That's the biggest piece of advice. Next one is, what books would you recommend to any saxophone player? This is a good question. I have here. I'll just take this with me there. I have a bunch of books down here that I've been using over the years. Dad has had me use. Got another one in there. A couple in my room and stuff. There's one in particular, and I guess this is more of a more advanced kind of book, but this Walt Weiskopf book is great. It has etudes of interbalic playing and triad pair playing over standards in the back, and it's got a bunch of patterns and stuff. My old teacher, Chad Lefkowitz Brown, has a ton of books out now, and it's funny, when I took lessons with him, I have a lot of those PDFs that are in his books now, because he was just starting that PDF thing when I was taking lessons with him. And he's got some amazing books out. Adam Larson also has a lot of good books out. But yeah, so check those out. The Walt Weiskopf one is great. And then obviously there's ones like classical saxophone etudes that are super important. Like the Clark Gaylor etude book is great. I work out of that at UCF. The Rose etudes are great. The book that the Florida All-State 11 and 12 is out of, I forget which book that is. I'll have to fact check it, but that's another great one to check out. Next question is from Cannonball Kid, Caleb, one of our students at Devil Music Studio. He said, why tenor? Now, this is a good question. So, I was mainly an alto player. I started on alto, loved alto. I wanted to be a classical saxophonist until really 9th or 10th grade. But anyway, so I played a little bit of tenor here and there. It was my least favorite. I loved playing alto and bari. That was my thing. And then in 10th grade, I decided to try out on tenor for our jazz band at Dr. Phillips. And I ended up making it, and I got like the highest score that anybody's ever gotten on a jazz band audition. And I was like pretty pumped up, so I was pretty excited about that. I was like, oh, maybe this tenor thing's not so bad. And the reason why, actually, now that I'm remembering, the reason why I wanted to play tenor was my dad showed me this live recording of the Brecker brothers, who I knew in Barcelona, Spain, and this tune called Some Skunk Funk, which we all know. And I heard Michael Brecker's solo on it, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I gotta learn how to do that. So that's what sparked my interest in really studying tenor and studying jazz. And then that's also when I started taking lessons with this guy here in Orlando named Alain Burdett. He played at Cirque du Soleil for, I think, 30 years before it closed. Something like that. And I started taking with him like once a week, all the way through till I got to UCF. So that was like 10th, 11th, 12th, like almost 6 or 7 years with him. And he's still one of my role models, and he teaches at the Orlando Jazz Workshop. Just an insanely world-class player that I was very thankful to have, and he's taught me a lot. So that's the that on that. Someone asked me to do a review on the Boston Sack Shop neck. I have a lot of Boston Sack Shop products, as you guys know if you follow me on Instagram, and I'm going to be doing a review on each of them. During this quarantine, time. Florida is on a 30-day lockdown, so just stay at home unless you need to go to the grocery store or anything else. So 30 days. So I'm not going to be doing a lot for 30 days besides practicing and doing online school. So I'm going to do a video for each of them: the neck, the reeds, the neck strap. Well, I'll probably do the neck strap and the case in the same video, but I'll do some review videos, so stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button down below for that. How do you make transitions into Altissimo cleaner? This is from Adam Stein. Well, Adam, first of all, I think you have a very good grasp on this anyway. You sound great. I heard you in the Allstate band. It was fantastic stuff. But anyway, I guess a really good way of kind of going into Altissimo is to play your scales up there. Like C, D, C sharp, E flat, F, E. Just doing them really slow. I can chromatically and diatonically is important, but I'll practice from like C, C sharp, D, E flat. That's the bebop scale, but you can also do the the major scale. Just doing those helps, and then also just trying to play certain lines. Just little by little. Obviously, there's a lot of great players out there that have way more facility up there than I do. And listen to them. Listen to how they do it. Chris Potter has a great way of doing it, but just like he says, he practices just his regular lines up in Altissimo. So that's also, Ben Wendell also has a couple videos I think on Altissimo playing. Check those out. A lot of information in there. Gotta stay hydrated. Raspberry iced tea. Trying to quit the coffee addiction, and this is kind of just helping a little bit. What's your dream setup for all saxophones? I think we already know that. Luca Faro, Boston Sack Shop neck, Siosma. For everything. Okay, I'll do a few more here. Some good things to incorporate in practicing other than transcribing scales and fundamentals. Really good question. This is from Liam Vargas, who I met at Dillard High School, and UCF is down there. You sound great, man. I hope I get to play with you again soon. That was a lot of fun. Everybody at Dillard sounds fantastic, by the way. Good things that, I guess the main thing that we didn't say is listening, but transcribing, you're definitely listening. I think practicing. Ted Baker, who's the Airman of Note tenor saxophonist, said sometimes if you just practice freely, just trying to improvise. I know Chris Bittner, who is also a good friend of mine, I guess social media good friend, says that he practices a lot just trying to connect ideas, and I do a little bit of that too, maybe not as much these days, but trying to play ideas connecting to one another. So whether it's on a blues or whether it's on rhythm changes or whether it's whatever, or just free, like just trying to connect certain ideas or shapes, I've been working on these fourth patterns, trying to make them sound in different grouping, like putting them in different groupings. Sometimes I'll play them in groups of 7. So the original lick that I learned was, that's the original lick, and so I'm trying to put it backwards a little bit. So instead of transitioning to them just going up all the way, I take a triplet going down in between the two shapes. So I was spending like an hour or whatever trying to figure that out, doing it at the bottom of the horn. seeing where I can go from there, you know. Trying to connect that lick to something that, you know, I like playing up in the up register, you know. You know, so I'll try and connect them that way. And then, you know, if I'm practicing, you know, something along the way and I'm like, oh, this is a good place to put that thing that I just worked out into this tune or whatever, you know. That might be something that, you know, that's not transcribing, not really fundamentals or scales or whatever, but it's just kind of a good way to connect lines. So how do you get things to show up in your playing beyond putting things in all 12 keys? That's a good question too. I think putting things in all 12 keys is for dexterity and for your ear, but I think putting them into your playing is just like, I have another video on this, I think one vlog ago. It's called Shed Check. I did like a play-by-play of kind of like what I do to put things into my playing. You can check that out. Brief summary of what it is just you transcribe your line, phrase, 2-bar, 4-bar, whatever, and then every single time after you learn it, put it into your playing by improvise a chorus, and every single time you get to that set of chord changes that the lick is on, you play that lick. But you play some of your own stuff before and after it. And eventually, if you do it the right way, it'll kind of come into your own piece of language rather than you being, okay, I'm quoting Chris Potter, I'm quoting Sonny Stitt or whatever. Good question. How has your practice routine changed during the quarantine? I'll close on this one. So my practice routine has changed by, it's longer because I have less to do. And it's also, I've found that I'm also being more academic in my practicing here. Like I don't want to waste my time, I think is what it is, because this is a valuable piece of time in a very weird way. So I've been really trying to put as much time as I can on my weaknesses, because I don't have any performances coming up, so it's not like I really need to be 100% on top of everything I'm doing, you know, so I can feel good for a performance, you know. So I've been practicing on things that I'm not great at, aka, you know, rhythm changes in all 12 keys, blues in all 12 keys, playing ballads, learning ballads. You know, I've been focusing on a lot of that. And it's funny, I've been doing 2 or 3 days of hard practicing on that, and I had a lesson with a student, and I was really playing crappy, and you know, this was a Skype lesson, and I was like, man, I just gotta get back into just playing what I want to play for a little bit, you know. So I put on like this backing track. It was just like a vamp on C minor, and I just started playing like a ton of stuff that, you know, I was trying to figure out and put in, you know, my ear, like these fourth patterns or like some of these Brecker ideas that I've been trying to force into my playing. That's more fun for me, you know, rather than playing rhythm changes in D flat or G flat or whatever. So I've been doing that kind of stuff, and it's been helping. It's been helping my mindset of this kind of practicing. But yeah, it's definitely been more academic than usual. And hopefully I have more time to do vlogs like this. This has been a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it's been informative to you. I'm going to post some more videos of the Boston Sax Shop stuff here in the future, probably the next few days. But thank you for your questions. Send more to me on Instagram. Follow me at RFGJazz on Instagram, and then Ryan Devlin on Facebook and everything. So hit that subscribe button, more videos to come, and I'll see you guys in the next one.